Hi, Democrats. Today is Wednesday, September 1st, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Life. Happy Wednesday. Alrighty, so every day I come and I want to talk to you about bills, elected officials, and elections. So let me start out by talking about elections. So September 14th, 13 days from now, half of the state has an opportunity to vote on propositions. If you haven't had a vote on propositions in the last 90 days, chances are that you will have a vote on September 14th. Go out to the state election board, pull up your sample ballot so that you can be prepared. And while you're there, go ahead and request your absentee ballot. Voting from home is so much easier. You don't have to wait in line. You don't have to try to figure out when is it open. Vote from home. Alrighty, so I started out with that because I'm not going to talk about bills today. And there are a bunch, and I have mask lips. There are bunches I can talk about, but you all know, I know why you're here. I know what you want to hear me talk about. And so I'm going to talk about it in the most respectful terms that I can muster, right? So Oklahoma Congressman Mark Wayne Mullen from Congressional District 2, which is the eastern part of the state, found himself in another country. And I say found himself because he got on a plane with an undisclosed amount of money and flew somewhere. Found himself in another country arguing with folks who work at an embassy, who we need to be on our side. All right, so he flew to another country, did not declare his money, which if you've ever left the country, you know that you have to declare when you're trying to bring money into their country, because it's sort of like an anti-smuggling. Not saying that he was smuggling. I'm just saying that he had an undisclosed amount of cash that he did not declare. And he was going to rescue American citizens. Now, that sounds good, doesn't it? It sounds rescue American citizens. We want all the Americans who want to come home from Afghanistan to be able to come home. Everybody wants that. All the American citizens who are in Afghanistan who wants to come home, we want to facilitate their way to come home. But what we don't want is random folks to get in the way. We now do not have a military presence over there that would be there to take care of him should he find himself in harm's way. And let's be very clear. I am a Democrat and I am not a fan of Congressman Mullen. Not a fan. I don't want him to come into harm. And even if he puts himself in harm's way, I really don't want him to come into harm. But in the middle of what is surely chaotic, because we moved out so quickly and the Taliban is moving in and ISIS-K is moving in the middle of all that, he's just a civilian with a satchel of cash. That was not the most responsible. No, that's too kind. It was absolutely irresponsible and reckless. He is a congressman. And the thing about a congressman that is different from you and me is that his phone calls would be returned. Whereas, I'd have to make a whole bunch of phone calls, beg, promise my firstborn, whatever. I'd have to do a whole bunch of extra stuff. He's a congressman. His calls would have been answered. And his publicity stunt, trying to make sure he gets elected again, put people at risk. And it embarrassed America because he was over there arguing with folks like he wasn't raised well. I imagine he was raised well because he's an Oklahoman, but oh my word. I was going to come and say something substantive and helpful and hopeful. I don't have anything for this situation. He wasn't the first congressman to go over there after the State Department told us not to, but this is the second time he tried, and this time I guess he made it over there. The rules apply to Congressman Mullen just like they apply to you. The State Department said, don't go over there. Let them handle it. Do not get in the way. And he got in the way and most likely broke some laws in the process because, again, you can't take an undisclosed amount of cash into other countries. You can't. And he did do that. And the fact that he's talking about it in spy language is troubling. He went dark. He's headed home and he's safe. No, you're a congressman. 24% of the state that you represent doesn't have reliable access to affordable broadband. Deal with that. Oklahoma and Tulsa are in the top 11 of cities for evictions. Handle that. Um, the Department of Education is suing us for violation of for discrimination for disabled students. Deal with that. Don't go over there messing with that. There's a whole department that's not Congress whose job it is to deal with that. Do your job. Unless, of course, this is your subtle way, or not so subtle way, of telling us that you're done with that job and you don't want that as your job. And, that would make us all very happy. So I don't know what to say. There really is no explanation for the reckless, irresponsible behavior of our congressman, except that, we hadn't been embarrassed on the national stage in a couple of days, and he wanted to make sure we stayed there. If you are watching me and you're thinking about going to Afghanistan and you're not a member of the military and are not hired by the government, don't do it. Stay at home, make some phone calls, write some letters. We want every American who wants to come home. We want to get them safely home, but that is not the way to do it. If you live in Congressional District 2, which is the entire eastern border of Oklahoma, and you're thinking about running, now is the time to declare. Now is the time to reach out and let us know that you want to run, because we need to replace Mark Ray Mullins, because he has decided he'd rather be Liam Neeson than a congressman. All righty, reach out to okdemocrats.org, click on get involved, click on run for something. Let us know that you're ready to run for Congressional District 2. I bet I can get some folks motivated to help you run, to donate to your campaign, to knock on doors. Congressional District 2 needs a new congressman. All righty, you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining me, and I'll be right back here tomorrow at 4:15.